my story, Erin and I, we moved from Wanganui to Masterton here. She was at the local Pizza Hut just next to Harcourts. I was at the Shell, and Erin fell pregnant. So that wasn't part of the plan. I was doing a Bachelor in Business Studies at the time extramurally, and I was like, oh shit, this is sort of not part of the ultimate plan. You're sort of 20 and got all these dreams and aspirations, you know how it is. And so she fell pregnant, and then one of us, so we were both working at night. She was the manager across the road, and I was sort of shift supervisor across just at Shell here. So we both worked at night, studied during the day, life was all right. And she fell pregnant, and then we had to decide, one of us had to get a day job. I was at Shell, she was earning way more money than me, so I had to find a day job. I'd always serve real estate agents over at Shell. I think Max was the owner. Does anyone know Max? Oh, was it Max? I can't remember. I think it was Max. He used to be the owner, and he said, mate, you should maybe look at doing real estate. So, oh yeah, whatever. Didn't know much about it. But then you start talking to everyone. And if you ever come, who's it? Bruce? Was it Bruce? Was it Bruce? Oh, okay. No. So yeah, Bruce sold to someone, Jay. I think Jay, someone or other. Anyway, afterwards, but. And I was serving real estate agents. I used to be that annoying guy to do that whole upsell thing, you know, would you like 2 perky nanas with your petrol type of thing? And I was bloody good at that. And you just got talking to people. If you ever move into a town you know no one, work at a servo, because everyone talks to each other and it's all very friendly. You've got to wait till the gas gets full so you just start talking to people and you know your regulars. Anyway, so they knew about my life and I knew about theirs. And they said, you should really do real estate. And a couple of real estate agents, I can't even remember who they really are actually now, to be fair, but they said, you should do real estate, you'll be quite good. Knew nothing about real estate. And I went and saw, I had a mate, Casey McDonough. He used to sell real estate. He was a young fella. We both started real estate at the same time, and he was working over at Harcourts, and he said, well, come over to Harcourts with me and I'll introduce you, and sort of the rest is history. So we ended up doing a papers at Lower Hutt, coming over, doing the papers during the day, coming to work there at Shell, and then finally got my papers and we left to start at Harcourts. So that's sort of how I got into real estate, absolute fluke. Didn't know a thing. I had my papers and still didn't know what unconditional and conditional meant, just didn't register to me, so that's probably not a good thing. Started with Prue across the road, and then we ended up. So you learn the hard way, because I didn't know anyone in town. So knew no one, had to figure out, and I entered a job where you only get paid commission only, and we've got a baby on the way. And I've just turned 21. So not ideal, but you have to fight, you have to get into it. So I just didn't know any better. So I was told to go knock on doors, so I knocked on doors. I was told to ring up people, do farm areas, so that's just what I did. I did my first deal. Is there a Waterhouse Road? Waterhouse Street? Yeah. My first deal, a guy was going for a run down. He said, I'll be down around this area here. I had to find him, pull over on top of the bonnet, signed a section deal for $33,000, my first sale. Happy as Larry. I think Prue came with me at the time because you had to do a 6 months thing. And geez, well, I haven't done one of these deals for a long time on top of a bonnet. So that was my first deal, just chase someone. And literally did that the whole time. Always followed up, did open homes, did the whole stock standard sort of enter into real estate. Eventually over time, first year made $28,000. Okay, so I just said to myself, look, at Shell, I would have been getting probably 22, 23. If I can be equivalent, I haven't lost anything. I've gained a year of real estate and I haven't lost any money. So nice and easy. And those are difficult discussions in that first year, because in the first year, you've got to buy computers. Then we didn't have a creative team or anything. You had to buy printers to print off stuff and hand deliver flyers. I had a Mazda 323 1982 car. I had a little big bore on the back of it. Never owned a suit. It was all these expenses when you first walk into the game. And suddenly, your 28,000 is probably about 20 after everything. So, and tax and GST, didn't know any of that. So you have these hard discussions at home, and it's like, oh, maybe you should just go back and get a job, and maybe you should, just just do a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday and be way easier. You get guaranteed pay. But deep inside, you know you can do a really good job. You know this is just a matter of time before you crack it. So the next year, worked for Harcourts for half a year, earned about the same sort of money, but over that half a year period, which worked out pretty good, and we moved back to Wanganui that way. And then from there, what I learnt was that, to credit Harcourts to be fair, they've got an extremely good training program. So when I went back into Wanganui, I felt they were numpties. They just didn't know anything, like about how to use RPNZ or Core Logic or whatever, and all these little bits and pieces through there. And I went in there and just started getting to talk to people and knowing a lot of things. And then eventually, property brokers brought us out, and that's how I joined property brokers. But Paul talks about a time, it might have been 2 years after that, I was offered a pretty good job through a brethren outfit in Wanganui. And it was quite good pay, and you're like, what do you do? Erin's pregnant again, baby number 2. What are we going to do? So that's when we did meet at Stella, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're just about to, he obviously saw something in me that I never saw, but you're just about to crack it. You're just about to crack it. And I was looking for guaranteed, should I have been 26, 27 at the time. I was looking for guaranteed pay, like we all are effectively. I said, mate, give yourself a chance. It's either all or nothing, effectively. Go hard. You know, what do you got to lose? I thought a bloody good job, to be fair, at the time. But and that's what we did. And it came down to when property brokers brought our little company that I was working for out. I went into partnership at the time with the owner of that office, and he had like 90 listings. His name was Doug Lacey. He's passed away now, but he was a good guy, but had plenty of listings, but he was just old school, just listed houses. What do you want? Do the deal. And there's the old one-page listing forms. She'll be right, done. 90 odd listings. So I partnered up with him and sort of learned a few little tricks. And then after that, he was only sort of contracted to the company for 1 year once we brought him out, and he left. So now I didn't have any partnership at property brokers, and it was around that time that I got offered that job, and that's where I had to make the call. And Erin was pregnant again. So we had to really then step up the game and had to figure out how are you going to become, at this time maybe earning $65,000 at best if I was lucky. And I had to really step up, how am I going to become a better agent? I knew I was good, I knew I could be all right, and that was probably half the problem, is that I thought $65,000 in an earning capacity was good. But, you know, there was so much more out there I just wasn't getting. And the best way to do that was, Paul said to me, look, you need to get vendor funding. You need to get vendor funding. I'm not going to sit here and harp about vendor funding to you, but it is what changed my career and what changed my life. And that is purely a confidence thing. So after a while, so we had to go, and we're a bit like the Wairarapa Wanganui, so no one did vendor funding. We didn't even get professional photos for houses. We're only talking 7 years ago. There was none of that. There wasn't. You just didn't ask, because no one did. You just wouldn't. You'd lose a listing if you even tried. You just got thrown out the door effectively if you even tried. And that was the mentality in the office. Yep. So we did back of the bus, committed to the back page of what we call the River City Press, which is just your free paper you get during the middle of the week. So committed to that. So I committed to a whole back page, so you've got to pay for that, right? So I had to say to myself, I've got to trust my ability to sell VPA, or whatever you call it, otherwise I'm paying for that. If I can't fill that page, I'm paying for that. Risk. Just live with it. So I did the back of the bus, did that, started promoting, so I started getting realestate.co.nz, started going bigger promotions than that. Property Guide were the first ones to get a banner, at the top. You got the first page. And what happens is, once you get the first page and no one else has one, everyone else wants one. So you're encouraging a culture, you suddenly become a leader within your branch and your group, because they want to follow what you're doing. They can see what's happening in front of them, and everyone has the same opportunity. Okay, so it's just that who wants to take it, and that's what we did. We just took it, and suddenly got 1 page, 2 pages. In New World, you've got those as you walk into a supermarket. You've got those big sort of placard things that you can stick your advertising and stuff in there. Did that. Went to Westpac. Said, can I have a board? Can I just have a space on your wall? We'll organise everything. No one asked these questions. You just go in there and talk to them and say, look, can we do that? I got Westpac to come with me to open homes. I said, look, as payback, why doesn't your mortgage broker come with me? Which I got actually that idea from here when I was in the Wairarapa. All those things, you just have to think outside of the square. I got open home. I've got these massive open home things. I've still got them up. You haven't seen these, Bruce, but they're massive. And I used to go out in the morning on a Sunday morning and put open home 1 to 1:30 with an arrow pointing down the street, and I'd put that out at say 10 a.m. Which every other one, if you go to other cities, that's what they probably do them here now. I don't know, but people have got all their things out on the street. No one did all that type of stuff. I had my face on it, so all day people were driving by and you'll see, oh, there's an open home there at 1 to 1:30. I probably should do it again actually, but just different ideas. Weren't afraid to do it. Talk to creative. And come up with all these ideas. We had big soul signs. Just did everything we possibly could out of the box. Just come up with ideas, and it's all random. You're in the shower and you're like, shit, that's a good idea, or you're just driving away and that's a good idea. And the trick is, everyone's got great ideas, but no one ever does anything about them. We'd probably all be millionaires if we did. That's just the way I am, and.